Hi, and welcome to Moonbeam Connections. I'm Jackie Lee. Today on Seriously Universe, Explain Yourself, we're going to look at the outcome of a relationship in your life. So whatever relationship you want, doesn't have to be a romantic one. It could be a platonic one. It could be a coworker situation. We're just going to look at the outcome of the relationship. And we'll do our pick a pile again. We're going to continue on that series, see how it goes. So I'll make 3 piles, and then you can pick whichever pile sort of resonates with you, and that'll be the message for you and your friendship or whatever your relationship is. So we'll put 3 piles here, 1, 2, and 3. And so looking at these piles, pick whichever one resonates with you. So I'll spread them out a little bit. So we have pile number 1 here, we have pile number 2, and we have pile number 3. So whichever pile speaks to you, and again, you can pick more than one. So it might be one sort of, say the center pile, it really sort of speaks to you, but you kind of have an inkling towards the other one. I would use this sort of as like your major message. Maybe this is your minor message. Maybe this is for your, the major relationship that you're sort of thinking about, whether that be a romantic or coworker or whatever. And then this is for another relationship that you're not quite as close to. So take it however you want, however it resonates with you. That's how it goes. So pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So for pile number 1, the outcome of your relationship, is the 8 of Wands. And so the 8 of Wands is about speed, movement, progress. It's like this forward. You can see here in this card where they're shooting downward. You can even have the bird, right? The bird's coming down quickly with fire, that spark of inspiration that I always say the wands are. But the 8 of Wands is usually about incoming fast communication, right? Things are coming at you fast. There's going to be communication coming in. So maybe whoever you're thinking of, if you haven't been in contact with them for a while, that communication is coming in, or maybe you haven't been communicating properly within this relationship, but now you're going to start getting the communication that you desire. And then if you picked pile number 2, the outcome of your relationship, is the 9 of Swords. And so this is definitely not a good sign. The 9 of Swords is about having like anxiety and guilt and despair. It's sort of just needing to like a break from everything that's been going on. You can see these 2 people, they're looking at her here. She doesn't look actually upset or anything. She almost looks like she's rising up towards heaven or towards the spiritual world, but you can see these swords are coming down upon them, and we have 2 people here that look quite in distress, worried about things. And so it's all about kind of that, anxiety and just like despair, like overwhelmed, like it's just been all too much, and you just need to have like a break, a timeout. So that's the outcome of a relationship if you pick number 2. And if you pick number 3, 3 of Coins or 3 of Pentacles. So this is a good outcome. This is like collaborating, skill development. So it's like the journeyman and the apprentice working together. The journeyman is showing the expertise and how they do it, and the apprentice is showing, the new techniques that they just learned in school, and they're both working together and collaborating in order to create something bigger or better. And so it's about making that progress, using your skills, collaborating with others, working with others. So this is a good outcome. This is about working together, making progress, building something real. So if you picked pile number 1, I'd say that the outcome of this relationship is good. There's going to be sort of ongoing communication, ongoing like an ongoing relationship, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it is the absolute best relationship, but it's going to be a continuation of this relationship where there's communication back and forth, and you're talking to each other. When we have the 9 of Swords, this is going to be, no, this is not a good outcome to the relationship. This is you, feeling grief because the relationship ended, or feeling grief because you're in the relationship, right? And the relationship needing to end, just needing a break from it, needing a rest. And then if you picked the third pile with the Three of Coins, this is very good for an ongoing, collaborative, working together, building something together relationship. So we're going to get now a piece of advice for each of these groups. So, piece of advice in terms of what to do next or how to take this information. So, for our first pile, the Eight of Wands, what's our advice, please? Oh, okay. Hey, and reverse Ace of Cups. Oh, I should pull them all. Let's just pull them all and then we'll talk about it. So, and then for our Nine of Swords, what's our advice for our Nine of Swords group? Ooh, that one fell on the ground. Let me go get it. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles. Okay. And then for our last group, what's our advice, please? Thank you. And reverse Seven of Cups. Okay, so when we're looking at the Eight of Wands and we've got our incoming communication and stuff, but your advice is the reversed Ace of Cups. So this is about being emotionally blocked or repressing things, feeling empty, right? Like here's like your cup is being filled up, you're being offered love, you're being offered relationships, it's your intuition opening up. And so when we reverse it, it's kind of like a bit of a blockage like that. It's like losing things emotionally or having blocked creativity, blocked feelings, feeling empty, unable to sort of express your emotions as much as you would want to. And so I think your advice is to understand that like you're repressing your feelings right now, right? You're trying to repress things, but you're going to be having this incoming communication, this incoming talking. And so I think your advice here is to start understanding where your blocks are, understanding where you're trying to, maybe repress yourself or repress your feelings, or, you don't quite feel fulfilled by things, and you need to start sort of opening up, letting people in, letting people fill your cup. So you're going to have this incoming communication. I think you need to accept it. Accept that this communication is coming in, accept that this person can help you turn this cup around and start filling it up. And then we have the Nine of Swords, our middle pile here. And your advice is actually to get into like nurturing mode. So Queen of Pentacles is nurturing, but it's being like practical and having abundance. It's, Pentacles are always sort of your earthly matters, your practical matters, your finances, your career, your housing, what you're doing in your day-to-day life that you need to do just to live, to be a human being. And so I think this is like nurturing the practicality of this, right? Understanding like this is anxiety and I need a break and I just need to rest. And so this is about being practical about that. Nurturing yourself first, right? Taking the practical steps that you need to take in order to get this rest, in order to get away from this relationship that's causing anxiety. This is very often a working parent, maybe even a working single mom type situation. So you're pulling out of this relationship that's giving you these anxiety and this despair, and you're starting to nurture yourself and nurture your own well-being, but your own finances, and being practical, taking those practical steps. And that's what this is about, is looking at things from a practical point of view and taking those practical next steps forward. And then with our Three of Coins, Three of Pentacles, where we're working together well, building something new, we have the reverse Seven of Cups. And the reverse Seven of Cups is all about finding clarity. It can also be being overwhelmed by choices. So what I always say is, When we have the upright, so the upright with the Seven of Cups is like having a whole bunch of choices. Some of those choices are good, some of those choices are bad, and we're sitting here and we're debating which one do we take? You know, we're imagining how are things going to be in the future. We have some maybe delusions about how things might be depending on which cup we pick, but we have all these choices. And when we reverse things, we can go two ways. We're either going to the opposite of what it means. So if we have too many choices, we don't have enough choices now, or we go to the extreme where we have just overwhelming and too much and we can't deal with it. So I think, but what your advice here is to start getting like clarity on it, right? So start understanding what are these choices I have to make. Like here we're apprenticing, we're building things, we're creating things. So you're going to have choices in that. And the next step is to get clarity on what your next choice is, right? And not to get overwhelmed, not to be too tempted by things, not to get overwhelmed by having a ton of choices. We're just going to start getting clarity on what are we truly building? Excuse me, what are we trying to build? And what are we, where do we want to go, right? And I say we because, these are relationships. Hey, I'm going to get, let's do it. We're going to get a Moonology card for each pile, and then that will be it for today. Unless I feel pulled to grab another set of cards, and we'll see. So we're asking for a Moonology card for our first set, which is our Eight of Wands. We're going to have fast incoming communication. And then we're going to get one now for our Nine of Swords, which is our anxiety and needing a break. Thank you. And we're going to get one for our Three of Coins, which is working together, building something, using each of our skills, right? Cooperating. You're good at that, you do that. I'm good at this, I'll do this. We'll do this together, and that's a lot of cards. Maybe a lot of things you're building. Let's try again. Okay. One for our Three of Pentacles, please. Our apprenticing, journeyman, working together. There we go. Okay. Oh, we got two. There you go. You get two. Okay, so for our Eight of Wands with our incoming communication, we have take time to breathe out. So this is the disseminating moon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Disseminating moon. So just take time to breathe out, right? This is fast moving incoming energy. So make sure you take time, right? Just because it's the communication is coming fast, things are happening fast, doesn't mean you can't just be like, whoa, right? This communication, everything is coming all at once. Let's just slow down, take a breath, take a deep breath, center yourself, and take a moment. Even if things are coming at you quickly, even if things feel like they're changing or moving quickly, take the time out that you need to breathe. If you feel like, oh, it's coming all at once, stop, breathe, center yourself, and then start going from there. And you'll find that definitely does help when you just stop and breathe for a moment, that all of a sudden the clarity just does come. Okay, and if you're in this Nine of Swords relationship here that needs to end, or you need at least a break from it, right? You need time to reflect on it and see where you're going. We have the gibbous moon. Of course, I can't pronounce anything today. You're very close to achieving your goal. So I'm not sure what your goal is here, but remember, this is all about nurturing yourself, right? Your advice is to nurture yourself, be practical about your steps, right? Get your foundation, your security. So if this is a romantic relationship, you see that you might have to move out. If you're living together, that you might have to be in separate homes. And so you got to be practical, nurture yourself, be practical, get your finances in order, get your own place. And this card's saying you are very close to achieving your goal. So whatever you decide that your decision is with this relationship, you actually are probably closer to achieving it than you think. So if it's like, oh, there's so many steps that have to be done for this relationship not to be here anymore, especially if it's like, say it's a coworker and you're like, I just can't be in this situation, or it's your boss and you're like, I got to switch jobs. Okay, so we need to put out resumes, we need to do interviews, you may feel like, oh, this is going to take so long, but what Spirit is saying is no, you're actually close to achieving whatever this goal is that you need to do, whatever steps you need to take, whatever practical steps. So you're much closer than maybe you feel that you are. And then for our Three of Pentacles, Three of Coins, where we're apprenticing together, we're working together, we have our, South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. Okay, so don't let your past, don't let past traumas, don't let past relationships hold you back, right? Sometimes we remember what things were like before with other people or in other situations, and we assume that because that happened before with that, now it has to happen over here with this, right? And every relationship's different, every situation's different, and so you've got to take everything as individual, as an individual person, as an individual situation. Not everybody's the same, so don't let your past hold you back. Don't let that, cling on to you where you're like, well, it's always going to be the same, because it doesn't necessarily have to be the same. And then we have New Moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. Okay, so that works really well with our apprenticing, right? Where it is a give and take. But what this is saying is right now, it might be time for you to give a little bit. So if you were even questioning this relationship because, you're like, I have to make sacrifices or I have to make changes and I don't know if I want to make those changes in order to make this relationship work. I think this is saying that at the moment, this is your time to give a little bit. And that doesn't mean that you're just going to give and give and give and give in this relationship and it's not going to be reciprocity. But it's more about at this moment, it may be your time to give a little bit. So if you're in this relationship and you're sort of been like, no, I'm not going to move at all. I'm not going to adjust at all. You're just going to have to be part of, like, come into my life and be part of my life. It might be like, it's time for maybe you to give a little bit, right? You can't just expect the other person to always bend and twist, to make things work. Relationships are about, compromise. And that's really what it is. You can't have one person getting absolutely everything they want, because then this person over here is going to feel horrible and left out and not taken care of, and their needs aren't going to be met, right? So we have to have that balance. And so at the moment, it's a time for you to give a little bit, instead of maybe taking, or for you to make some adjustments that maybe you were like, oh, I don't want to make any adjustments. Like, this person should just fit into my life. But that's not how it works, right? People aren't just going to be like, oh yeah, I'll just come along in your life and go for the ride and we'll do whatever you want. It's like, no, we're trying to build this life together. We're trying to work together, create something new. And so we both got to give a little bit, right? We both can't be in our own lives over here and expect the other one to follow. We need to come together, build this life together, and grow it. So I hope that these messages helped you today. I'm sending you peace, love, and happiness. Bye for now.